Sorry about my glasses being dark. I just came in from outside where I was watching our special visitors making their spring debut. I'll show those to you in a few minutes. What I want to talk to you about today is my husband was invited to a dance by a special young lady, and I'm going to, before he goes today, I'm going to make him a corsage to give her and a boutonnière for him to wear as well. So I'm going to show you what I have here. I'm going to turn the camera around so we can kind of talk you through that. First off, let's talk about what materials I'll be using. I have a pair of scissors. I also have some wire snips and some paddle wire. I have florist tape. It's stretchy. I don't know if you've used that before or not. It's stretchy to help hold it in place. I have a glue gun, and I have some ribbon, two types. I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. I have the wristlet for her corsage, and then the flowers that I bought yesterday, just an assortment. There's carnations and sweet William, daisies, and the reason I bought the bouquet that I did was it had some miniature roses. I was able to get some fern and some baby's breath. So the first thing I'm going to do, you can see the wristlet on me is kind of big, and she has much smaller wrists than I do. So I'm going to cut it down and glue it together, make it a little bit smaller. So the first thing I'm going to start with is the fern. I'm going to cut off some pieces, and they're going to be in the background. Foliage in the background. Should do it. I'm going to pull off bottom leaves. And I'll have something like that. I need to make 3 of these that are somewhat matching. Truthfully, I don't like the look of that one, so I'm not going to use it. That one looks better. If it was a different time of year, I'd be using my own cut flowers and foliage. But February, I do not have much growing. Just some seedlings in the basement and outside. So nothing I can use for this. I had to go to the grocery store, chain store, and buy these. I think this should give me something to work with to start with. Next, I'm going to add the miniature roses because that's truly what I was looking for. Some type of rose to add to it. And these aren't the greatest, but I think they'll survive for the evening. Snip them off. I may be able to pull off some petals so that they look a little bit better, not so damaged. Your grocery store, most grocery store chains have in imported flowers, usually from South America. So I have that. Let's get another one ready. There's the other one. And one more. I bought the fern because I knew there would not be much foliage in this mixed bouquet, and there wasn't. I think I like that one better. Okay. Next, I'm going to add in some carnation. And these have been dyed, so they're two-tone. And I had this pretty little daisy in it, and I think she'll like those. Actually, I kind of believe that this is in the mum family. Looking at its leaves. Start with the leaf behind. Add to it a rose. And one of the carnations maybe up beside it. Like working in threes. It's not bad. I'm going to kind of tape those together to get started here. And this tape, if you stretch it as you're working and wrapping, that's what holds it together. Stretch and wrap. There we go. Not a bad start. Let's see if we can come up with another one. Oops, that one didn't get pulled off all the way. Try to get the rose higher in this one with the carnation lower. In fact, I think I'm going to get a smaller carnation for this one. And a nice mum. There we go. Wrap those together. Two, and I'm going to make one more. There's a couple of other flowers I want to add in with it. I want to add in Sweet William and Baby's Breath. But as I was kind of auditioning this one to start with, I realized just how big it's becoming. If I look at it on my wrist, just one is going to be big enough for her. Instead of doing the double like I normally do, I normally would crisscross and have it that. So I'm going to take one apart and make it just a little bit smaller. Let's see what I can do. I'll take this one. I have the tiny carnation. I'm going to leave the rose. Take the carnation off. Leave the rose. I'm going to switch this out for a smaller one and add in a small bunch of Sweet William. Let's go over here on this side. Maybe like that. Makes it a little bit smaller. I'll take that up and remove these leaves down here so I get the tape around them. Twist and stretch. Tighten it up. Just a little more dainty. And I'm going to get another piece of fern then. There we go. Small one. Put it on with the carnation. And back to the other daisy shaped on there. Twist those together. baby's breath. If I can find some smaller pieces, this one will be perfect for here. Tucking that in behind, wrapping it on. And this one seems a little much. You can kind of tighten them up a little by pushing them together. Wrap that one around. So I have the two pieces. What will be her corsage, wrist corsage. Not bad. Those will be cut off and put on to the wristlet. Need to decide what ribbon is going to look best. Not sure. I know her dress is pink and red. I think we're going to bring in some of the pink. I'm going to shut this up and make a little bow for it. Here's the bow I made. It's not a bow I would normally make, but it is the first bow I ever learned how to make. I learned how to make it from my stepbrother's grandmother many years ago. It's very simple and it works well with this kind of ribbon and the size of bow that I'm making. Notice I added another rose. I couldn't help myself. I just felt like it needed some balance. I'm going to cross these very close together. The daisy's almost touching there. And I think I'm going to add a little bit of tape in between. A little scrap here. Kind of help hold it in place and work as a third hand as I tie on the ribbon. There we go. Put the bow on between. Find my wires, flip it over, and twist them together. I'm going to see if I can pull them just a little bit, the flowers a little bit closer together. And fluff up the bow. Cut off some of the extra pieces on the back side. Just a little bit more. There we go. Cut off my extra stem. I need the scissors to do that. And on this side. Push them together a little more. And to put it on the ribbon, you're going to fold those tabs around the flowers. I'm going to shut it off and take care of that. Here's the finished wrist corsage. It's a little small compared to, I've added a few things to my husband's boutonnière. They're almost the same size, but he's a tall man, and let's just say she's a lot shorter. All I gotta do is add some ribbon, cut off the extra stem, and it'll be done. So I have some extra time and a whole lot of baby's breath left over. So I decided to make a flower crown. I'm gonna take a long florist wire. This is much stiffer, it's 18 inches long. I will cover it, wrap it with the tape, florist tape. And actually I have one already done here. And it's bent at each end. And you make loops at each end and then secure them tightly. And to it, I have made little bundles of the baby's breath, just like I did earlier. And you just start at one end and you just wrap it around with the florist tape. So there's the first one on. I just overlap a little bit and go to the next one. Continue in that manner until you've covered it completely. Okay, here's what I have so far. I've gotten down to the very end, and I just have 2 more to put on. This is where it gets a little tricky. I'm gonna go one direction, and then go ahead and secure that one on quickly, just a little bit. The other one, I'm gonna go the opposite direction and then kind of fluff it out a little. Put it in there. And fluff them out. May have to add a little bit more in there. I'm not liking the way it looks, so not too bad. There we go. And the last thing I'm going to do is add some ribbons. She has long blonde hair, so I'm going to add some long pink and I'll add the white ribbon as well. Shut this off and take care of cutting it. I was able to tuck in a little more baby's breath in that one spot that was bothering me, so it looks a little more full there. And now I'm ready for the ribbon. I have some long ribbon, about 24 inches long, maybe a little longer. I have the pink and white. I'm going to fold it in half. And then I'm going to loop it through those little loops I made on the wire to begin with. Stick that loop, both colors through it. See, I've got 2 loops right there caught on it. And I'm going to tuck the ends through that. And just pull it. Should be able to tie that in the back to hold it together. I'll do one on the other side now. There's the completed flower crown. There's one going. I don't know if you can hear them, but the eagles are back. I heard them a day or 2 ago, and I've been looking for them. Farther away.
Have fun, guys.